It's the Sunday service with Supertanskiii. This gonna be a warning.
Yay, we're on, we're live.
Oh shit! Oh god, I've just ruined my monetization right out the gate there. Welcome one and all to the Sunday service with Graham Danger Hughes of Politics Social tonight.
Hello.
It's going to be a mixed bag tonight. We're going to have a very kind of like women know your limits vibe tonight, I think. And who better than Graham Hughes, the renowned misogynist?
to do my Harry Enfield impression. Mr. Chamley-Warner says, women, know your limits.
Look, kittens, which is what I should be talking about. Kittens and knitting. If you follow me elsewhere, you'll know that it's been a bit of a tumultuous week. We've had a big week in politics, especially in the last couple of days, actually. Not only have we hit Labour's first year, but we've also had another scandal hit Reform with the wife-beating James McMurdock, or it's technically, what is it, girlfriend kicking James McMurdock, who apparently deserved Christian forgiveness for his incident, but has now resigned the whip prior to a piece that was coming out in the Times today, an exclusive of the Times, if I remember correctly, regarding an enormous amount of money, £70,000 taken in COVID loans for property businesses that weren't even functioning with employees, some of them, that had very little in assets. So there's that.
Yeah.
And then we've got another, the Times have been on it this week, to be fair. Despite being a Murdoch rag, they could not be printing this stuff, whether it's Reform or Labour, without sources, without intel, because they are actual journalists. Yeah. And sadly, you've got people on both sides of that horseshoe theory nightmare saying that it's not real journalism, that it can't be true because it's the Times. Gabriel Pogrund dropped the Elphick rape scandal and also the attempted cover-up by MPs. So he is not picky with his exclusives. He's done Labour, Reform, Tory, and now he's talked about this Labour scandal. And then we've also had, it's been a bad week for me in terms of online nonsense, but we'll get onto that in a bit. Are you up to date on the Reform scandal, Graham?
Yeah, I mean, it's just another Reform. It's just another Reform scandal, isn't it? I mean, there's now 4 Reform MPs. He's had the whip suspended, or he's resigned the whip while this investigation's going on. To be honest with you, I don't think that much will come of it. He'll probably get the whip back, and there's going to be a criminal charge or anything. But it just goes to show, like, the guy who's in charge of Durham County Council, his last business went bumpo in the tax man and his creditors £1 million. And like, we're putting these people in charge of stuff. And it's like, are you kidding me?
But we're not. We're not doing that.
We got a super chat. Have you got your?
Yeah. I'm just getting my Windows set up because thanks to you being my lovely, magician's assistant, except you haven't put your bra on, which I'm disappointed.
I am wearing a bra.
You're wearing a bra, but under your various layers. Got a £5 super chat. Shay Luke. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your support, Shay Luke. £5 super chat there incoming. And hello to everyone in the chat. We've got Yuri, we've got Diz moderating. Thank you so much. We've got a bunch of other familiar faces. And thank you all for your support also regarding the Piccadilly Pit. I know has been really decent in trying to, fight my corner a little bit today because it's been a bit mad.
Yeah. Can I just say before we go on, I'm sorry that the super chat animation then didn't display properly.
Oh, didn't it?
Again. Ta-da! Now it's displayed properly. Sorry. It's like a typo. I can't just let it lie.
I know how you feel. And I also know that you I'm not going to mention the person involved, and I'd rather you didn't name the bell end.
No.
I know that you have actually you are unable to stop yourself from, 1, correcting a typo, and B, from inserting a your mum joke. Give you an opportunity.
Yes. Well, in that case, I think it was. I think it was a your dad joke.
Oh, was it your dad?
Which is even funnier, as far as I'm concerned.
I think I followed up with a comment on the pleasure of the father, which didn't go down very well. But the thing is, like,
But yeah, can we also, before we go on, can we also give a shout out to our friend Aid who did a marvelous intro?
of course,
animation?
yeah, I didn't have
What a
time to put
what
that
a
in.
freaking
But,
legend!
guys, did you like the intro?
We
Because
got
that
some
was
love for it in
by,
the chat already.
have we?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah.
That was Aid Thompson and Other Disappointments. I don't know. Is it possible to pop a link to his channel in the
Yeah,
or
yeah.
yours
Oh,
and
I
yours
should be able to do that while I'm
and
talking to you.
yours and
But yeah,
oh no.
we're having questions in the chat of like what's been happening. So if you want to give sort of an
Oh, of course,
outline
yeah.
of the shit.
Well, to be honest with you, what's happening on YouTube is no skin off my arse, really. I mean, that happens all the time. What you'll get kind of like lower level YouTubers or people on TikTok, or it used to be TikTok, but nowadays I predominantly only use YouTube. And what they'll do, oh hello, is they will kind of pile on a kind of person with a lot more followers than them in order to try and get what I call hate clout. If a person's controversial, if a person has a lot to say, they attract attention, right? So what they do is they almost like try and bait you into like a kind of follow-up video or like a stitch video where you will kind of call them out on that stuff. Now, I've got another one that does it. She's a woman, and I'm sure you all know who I'm referring to. And you know what? As much as I don't agree with her, as much as I am annoyed by her incessantly, she's fair with it. Because what she'll do is she will take a video that you've done and she might, you know, apply her own context to it, but she will give you your full voice in what you're saying and then disagree with it, right? This other person literally just came for a bunch of us out of nowhere because he wanted to, I assume, get some ad revenue because he said in another comment that he'd been off work. So his first video that he did a few weeks ago got like no views. So I think this person decided that this is the way to get a bit of kind of like clout back behind the channel, get a bit of ad revenue in, knowing that if I comment or if Max, a lovely other person, like lovely Max, who's got beef with Max, or anyone else commented, that it would bring views in, right? But I don't do that. I crack on and I just do my own thing. The thing that I took umbrage to was the absolute privilege of the man, right? Who throughout the whole angry woman is, oh, are they really happy? That phone
that was like, go on, give us a smile.
Give us a smile. Oh, is she really happy?
What you want to do when someone says give us a smile, you want to say you first, and when they smile, you say good boy, and then walk off.
I normally do this.
Before we go on, we have got a super chat.
Oh, hello. Okay, yeah. So you'll have to remind me where I got to because Richard Marsden. Hello, love. Your Insta post was a hard watch, but you two make me interested and invested in politics. You're legendary and beautiful people, and so are you, Mr. Pink Hair. Yeah, the Insta's a whole different. I mean, that is like deranged, unhinged, mad behaviour.
Yes.
This other guy is just a bit of a fanny, right?
But also, you're right. Like, you don't do that. Like, I don't do it either. I don't do clapbacks to other creators because I think, well, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? I know some of them slag me off now and again, and well, I can't be bothered because there's so many people to punch up at the moment. I'm not going to punch down or sideways. It's the target is the billionaires and the Musks and the Farages of the world, you know.
No, absolutely.
Yori's got a super chat in there as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. Let me just get onto my screen. It won't be a moment.
I can read it if you want.
I'll do it. I'll do it. Nan, they understand what they're dealing with from my chaotic. I mean, this is actually smooth, Graham, compared to my normal nightmare. Yuri Infectinov, £2 super chat. Thank you, love. I'm aware of the vehicular bell end. Yeah. So the thing that I took umbrage to was the privilege of it, right? Because throwing out the angry woman, oh, what does she do? She calls people cockwombles. I haven't ever called anyone a cockwomble since like 2021. And the only reason I used to do portmanteau swears was because on TikTok you would get a ban outright if you swore. So you had to be creative with how you swore. So back in the day, I used to do kind of like combi swears and take the piss that way because I basically got a full account warning for calling Jacob Rees-Mogg a cunt. No. It was
a country member.
It was a Monopoly-looking motherfucker, I think, was the
Can we get more super chats in, because we just demonetized this stream?
I have actually probably just If you feel like it, please help me, help a nan out. He threw that out, and it's really diminishing of what I've built by myself across 6 platforms over the last 5 years. And whilst I started off piss taking, I moved into more deeper dives on things, backing up some investigative journalists, like promoting their stuff, people I thought people might want to hear. And it was so needlessly twatty. So I wrote I wrote a fair response to it, because I wanted to incorporate the fact that at the moment it's privilege to check out. Okay, he's all right. He's not a black man. He's not a disabled person, as far as I'm aware. He's not trans. He isn't a woman. But he obviously cropped out the bit above where I said, doesn't affect you because you're a white man, which in the context of all of that makes way more sense, right? It's like a follow on from that. And besides that, in many ways, if you're not any of those things, you do have a privilege that those of us that do have. And obviously he made most of the video about me, and he praised the men who had responded to him concisely. He didn't call out any of the sexism being thrown at me by his commenters. None of it. Like, no calling out of the people saying that the only reason that I get subscribers is because people want to fuck me, basically. No calling out of that. But no, he's not a sexist. And then he also mentioned, this is why people Tommy Robinson's got a point. This is why people go over to the right. And any time that you're
Tommy Robinson's got a point.
What's your take on it? Obviously we're not naming the knobhead, but
some people are asking who it is. It's another person who does videos on here. I just found it very, very privileged. I thought, if I did that video, do you know what I mean, about one of the female creators that we might not get on with, I think it'd be so out of order, absolutely out of order for me to, even if I vehemently disagree with her, because I am in a privileged position. I know I'm in a privileged position because I see what Tan gets. I see the grief that Tan gets online, and it is 1,000 times, and I'm not exaggerating by that, it is 1,000 times worse than anything I've ever got. And so, I just don't feel like I'm in a position to do that kind of video. And again, like I said earlier, I just wouldn't anyway. I can make fun of people behind their backs or whatever, but going online, but we've had some gift memberships and we've had some super chats come in. Would you want me to read them out, or are you happy?
I'm on it. I'm actually on it. Yeah,
okay.
I say I'm on it. I've got a different screen open. So what we've got, I'm just going back to check that we've not. So we've got gift. Alice Stemcombe, thank you very much, my love, for the 5 Supertanskiii gift memberships. We've got Graham Haller as a member, Kirsty Hamilton, Father Finton Stack, which is a brilliant throwback to Father Ted, which sadly was made by Linehan, but I'm not letting it ruin it. No. Idiosyncrasy and Alex. And Winston, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. This is for what you call the Rees-Mogg. Yeah. Thank you so much for supporting my incessant swearing and inability to stop swearing. Really, it's an issue. It's a condition. Jovian R, thank you for the £10 super chat. Rude words, oh my. I wish I had some pearls on for you so I could clutch them for you there. We've also got Ivan Ambrose. Hello, love. $4.99 super chat. This is a really funny one. Any advice on making thumbnails? This is one of the main stumbling blocks on my YouTube channel. Man, you're asking me. My thumbnails are so rubbish. I think, Graham, if you've got any advice on this, I'll just finish off the before I move on, if you do have any advice.
They're going to be really small, so don't make them busy and make the text really legible and make it stand out from the other stuff. But have a look at what other people do. Like, have a look at what other successful people do with their thumbnails, and it's got to be 16:9 ratio. And don't forget, if it's going to be seen on a big TV, it has to be quite a high resolution. So don't you think of it on a phone, don't you? But it's got to work at like a postage stamp size, but it's also got to work on a 4K television. And just if you have someone on the video, make them pop. Like if you have someone on the video thumbnail. So what I normally do, I just cut them out and then have the sort of a stroke. I have a stroke, Tan.
You have a stroke?
I have a stroke,
What
and then I
kind?
finish the work. I put a stroke around them and give them a bit of give them a drop shadow and stuff, just try and make it pop out the screen a little bit. But it is difficult. It's a bit of an art. I mean, I do them because I kind of enjoy doing them, but I don't think for my channel, the Politics Social channel, I don't know if they're that necessary because I have my gang. I have my regulars, so
You've got
it's
your
not
crew.
like I got my
all up
crew.
in here.
Yeah, if you would like to join the crew, go over to Politics Social UK.
Yeah, if you'd like to join the crew, go over to Politics Social UK, isn't it? The
at Politics Social UK.
It's all in the description, by the way.
It's all in the description.
It's all in the description.
In the meantime, we've got a load more super chats to get through, Tan.
Oh,
Being
you
so
lovely
generous tonight.
people. Thank you so much. Urine and fentanyl, thank you, darling. £2 super chat. All hail Technan! Technan. I'm sorry to disappoint you because it's actually working this week. So they come to expect the chaos. Annoyed AF, thank you so much for the US $5 super chat. I'm so sorry for what's going on in your country. Solidarity with that. What the fuck?
I think it's Robolaris.
Robolaris. Oh wow! Thank you so much for the 1999 super chat. You're so kind. I'm positive that you're doing this just because Graham's here and his fancy hat. I'm positive about it.
I don't think so.
But no, thank you so much. That's very kind of you all. Third Eye. Oh my goodness! Third Eye Blind. Thank you so much for the £5 super chat. Tommy R is a massive bellend and should be shunned by society at large.
Absolutely.
He would be hard to hide. He's tiny. He's 5'6", bless him. No offense to all the short kings out there. I'm not opposed to a short king. I'm 5 foot.
Menace.
But wow, tiny little Tommy 10 names. Andy Thompson, not to be confused with Adrian Thompson. £5 super chat. Thank you. I'll be honest. All this shouting at people you're on the same side of is making the lefty MCU a bit spicy. No hugs and puppies for anyone. Sadly, I mean, I don't know. To be fair, I tend to I will react occasionally to someone if it's if it's a rough day, of which we all have them, and I'm really struggling with the shit. I will snap sometimes, and I will respond to one, but not go after someone. Like, this is the difference. Like, I don't go after them and bait them. And I used to, like, years ago, I used to be a bit more fighty with people like Owen Jones and such like that. But even then it was in defence. So yeah, like, I tend not to. Like, the only thing that I think I can be accused of, and you, Graham, would be
What did I do?
What?
What did I do?
Well, the only thing that we can be accused of, I think, is like basic accountability for like, or just simply having anything to say about the new like left-wing party that's coming out. And we talk about politics. It's a political story. We're not going to sit there and say nothing about a pretty big, I mean, some polls have projected it could have like it could take 10% of the vote if it was not shambolic, which it sadly is. And, it was chaotic launch. From what things have been reported beyond the kind of text messages, Corbyn wasn't happy about it, apparently. The kind of left-wing, quite ambitious progressives like Corbynites sped ahead, according to the Times article, and didn't consult him. And he wasn't happy about it. And there's a very good chance that briefing came from Corbyn's team. So...
Such competence. Such competence.
And this is such a nightmare. Like, this is such a really like bad dent on. But then he's a clever man. People forget, beyond all the kind of like lovely allotments and jam and such like that, and the lovely things with the homeless and turning up. And he's a experienced politician.
What the hell has just happened?
What the fuck?
Who gave Aid the link to this?
I didn't.
What even are you doing here?
Hold on.
Fuck off! What the hell is Aid Thompson doing?
Why isn't there an Aid Thompson? What is going on?
Graham, did you give him the link?
I think he might have guessed it. I think he just guessed what the link was going to be.
Aid, if you're going to make an intro, be better at making an intro, for fuck's sake. What the hell are you doing here? Have you two stitched me up?
Yes.
Never. We would never stitch you up.
Is this like a kind of impromptu fuck the bins?
Fuck the bins. Fuck
my
the
God.
bins. So
FTB.
Thompson is here.
What?
Give my love to your dad, Aid. You know, he's doing.
Yeah,
well.
I'm so happy about this. I didn't think that you would ever come on here ever again.
Well, I've made
I've made
an exception. Yeah, I've made an exception just for you tonight, Tan. How you doing?
Oh, thank you. Look, these are my boys showing support, but I'm apparently a terrible misandrist, apparently.
You are. I've always thought so.
Have you?
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, in my world, that is kind of like low-key a compliment. No, it's not. It's not. But no,
He's hacked in. He's hacked in. Look, this is his tech smart. He knows how to hack in.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Why, how do
I
you
think
look
he's watching
different?
us.
Have you had a shave or something? What's different?
I
Got a new
sheared
face.
off I let my beard grow for a good 2 weeks and then sheared it all off earlier. I feel
I
bald.
thought you were saying like shaved in a Darren Grimes. I shaved.
Achieved.
Shaved my beard, man.
Well done, Aid, for getting over here, mate. I really appreciate it. You
That's
know
right.
your name has come up on as Adrian Thompson spelled.
I know.
How are they gonna
You
guess?
need to change that.
How are they gonna guess?
How are you going to decrypt that and get through my stage name?
Yeah, because it's so much different, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's uncanny. It's ridiculous.
It's,
As a tech man, he's like doing like the shittest Superman impression ever.
Yeah, true.
True
So-
dat, bitch.
We're getting some solidarity in the chat though, so that's nice. Solidarity.
Oh.
Super team.
Over the misandry, or
Yeah.
Over the misandry.
Yeah.
you
I love
poor
the way
fig Aid.
you make it sound like less bad. The misandry. You kind of like spin.
Casual.
Aid. I came
Yes.
up with a name for Tan Sunday show.
Oh
yeah.
shit.
Ski Sunday with 3 eyes on the ski, and then we can use the Ski Sunday theme.
Yeah, that's clever.
I'm sure the censors
Thanks,
at
Aid.
YouTube would love that.
This is past Aid's bedtime. He's half asleep. Wake up, Aid.
It is. If you
Wake up.
want energy
Dad's
and
balls.
enthusiasm out of me, it burns out at about 11:30 in the morning.
Oh, brilliant! So we're getting
on the
we're
morning
getting
show?
kind of like the Morrissey dad tonight.
Oh, I'm running on empty. I've been up since but 6 this morning, which is actually a bit of a lie-in, and then I've had a late soft play session all afternoon with my son and daughter, and I'm just like in pieces.
Well, in that case, I'm really glad you joined because that's exactly what we're after tonight is low energy.
Yeah, low energy.
So thanks,
Sunday
man.
night, low energy, wind down to take you back into the merciless onslaught that is another week in the UK.
Yes. It doesn't stop, does it?
Absolutely.
No,
We were just talking about Corbyn actually, and I actually was
Oh,
cooking
careful.
my dinner, watching your show the other day, and oh my god, you went hard. And I assume that you've got a fair amount of men ranting at you angrily in your DMs for that, yeah?
I have had some. I've got a
Filming
few,
videos. Have you had an old ginger man from up north?
I've not had
Graham.
any DMs of people
That wasn't me.
privately calling me a dickhead that I don't know. I mean, it's just mostly people I already know that do that to me.
Yeah, true.
Oh, like well, us in the chat.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
But no, it will shock absolutely none of the viewers here tonight to hear that as a man on the internet, I don't experience hate in the same way as Tan and the other female content creators do.
I was trying to think if there's many others. Like, I mean, to be honest with you, like I know Ava Santina, she of Politics Joe, and now doing very well as a commentator on the rounds. I know she had a pretty bad case of the stalkers, and the guy that was doing it cited his autism as a defense, obviously, because that of course that's an excuse. And I don't think that I know Marina and Gemma, they've spoken about getting a bit of it, But I think it's a bit different if you're in the kind of piss takey realm, because I'm not really like them in the sense that I'm kind of, I guess, polished and on telly and not swearing. So I seem to piss people off more for not being that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there an element of the fact that you're more known from being on the internet, which is infamously lawless, whereas Gemma and Marina are on more traditional legacy media, even though Marina came up on Twitter, right? So is there an
Possibly.
element psychologically people associate them with like that they're untouchable, unreachable, so I won't go after them?
I
Whereas
don't think
you,
so. I mean, they still
no,
get it, but they're just, I would say they're just more professional. So,
just look the other way. Just smile. Just
plus they're
smile about it, Tan.
they're more behaved, like well behaved, and they have to be because they've got other jobs. So they
Mm.
can't go around like me calling Jacob Rees-Mogg a monopoly looking motherfucker on the TikToks of a weekend.
Yeah.
Whereas I guess that freedom comes with even more. But every woman, like even if you're not talking about politics, you get this, whereas the men largely stay untouched. Because I don't think that fella that was on Insta would have ranted at you guys like that.
No,
Um,
no.
I don't think he,
No.
I think
And do
no.
you know what?
women are seen as
Sorry, you go.
both an easy target, and also it's like fair game as well. It's like, how dare this woman have opinions and tits? I'm really
Yeah.
angry. I'm going to make a video about it. It's
He-
just I see it as, the people who make this stuff, they probably don't see themselves as misogynists, but they absolutely are. They're just like,
I think it's more complex than that, though. I think sometimes it's like, don't write off as misogyny what could be explained as cowardice, in the sense that if a guy is upset with a given situation and he's, let's say, in the pub, round a pub table, he's sat just with a woman, he may well completely flip out, slam his hand down on the pub table, because he knows he's like, she's not going to go like, whoa, what the fuck you doing? Like, she's not going to square up to him. He doesn't have that level of threat. Whereas he will do that with a woman there in a way that he wouldn't do with a man. And you see it in interviews as well. Like, I don't know if you remember the R. Kelly interview a few years ago where he reared up at the female interviewer. And a friend of mine was like, I don't think that would have happened if the interviewer was male, even though he may not consider, whether it's R. Kelly or this guy on the DMs, they won't consider themselves as misogynists, even though there's a cowardice, like a sort of trivialization thing going on there. Am I making
Absolutely.
does that
And
not
there's-
stem from misogyny?
It does, yeah. It
Yeah.
absolutely does, because it's treating like, because you know that there's no physical threat there, that they're an easy target, and you don't live with the kind of same kind of fear. So yeah, I mean, misogyny, especially if you're kind of being aggressive to a woman in particular for no reason or whatever. I mean, that's abusive, textbook abusive. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't stem from seeing a woman as an equal, does it?
No.
No.
No, so I suppose, yeah, ultimately it does go back to a inequality and a sort of, it's different though, isn't it? It's oppression and cowardice, or oppression funneled through the conduit of cowardice. Or
I mean, it's all cowardice.
am I chin stroking too much for what we should just be like, that guy's a cunt?
Well, no, he basically is. I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, it's really unhinged. Like they get so angry at me, and the things that he was trying to bang on about, like he was like, "This isn't abuse," like as he yells at me through like unwanted video messages that I never consented to. That he was sending one after the other in like quick succession. And that they also know that they are protected because they know how hard it is to get the police to come round to them about this. I was on the phone earlier with the police. I don't know how serious they're going to take it. But I said to them, look, I've been victim blamed by you guys before and told to come offline. So I have to remove myself. It's like you don't wear a short skirt. I have to be the one that changes my entire life, because whilst the men are just free and emboldened to do it, But anyway, it's that's one thing. But the I think you stayed out of the sights of the angry, super positive but not happy, but really super happy bandman fella who's been
I've had it. He's been on my podcast before.
Has he?
Yeah, he was on my pod about
Did he
18
tell you
months
to smile
ago,
more?
2 years ago. Again, it's going to shock you to hear this, Graham, but no.
Oh,
Did he tell you to be positive? Just be
yeah,
positive.
why don't you be more positive?
No, I can't really remember what
I tell
we
you to be
talked about.
positive. You're always like, oh, the fucking world's going to end. Oh, this is it now. You know, the sky's falling
Yeah.
in. And I'm like, it's not going to be that bad, Aid.
I mean, in my defense, I am right about that. The
But
world
what
is
I was
gonna
trying to
be-
get at ages ago was the way that you were saying that Corbyn should have waited for the anti-Semitism. It was
They're coming back in fashion.
the comment that you made in relation to Kanye. It was
Yeah.
just so funny. And I also like the way that you referred to anyone that's not watched Age Chat is going to be really bored by this. The way that you clapped back to the way that you referred to the amount of money going to ICE as a Bezos wedding's worth. I found that extremely funny. And if you guys haven't checked out Aid Thompson and Other Disappointments, who made the monstrosity that is the intro to this.
Oh, did you play it tonight?
Yeah. We totally played it. It was fucking beautiful, mate. It was
Have you
Showcasing
still
my
got,
editing skills.
Oh, because we're a little bit in now, Graham. Have you still
Yeah.
got the F your bins intro?
Fuck your bins. Oh shit! I don't know. Maybe I could have a look for it while we're
I've
chatting
got a
away.
few super
I don't know how
chats
long we got
to
Aid
catch
because
up on.
we did say I'd just come on for a little while because he does have to
No,
put
what in
his,
solidarity?
put his little one
comrade?
to bed. I think at some point.
Is
I'm
this
gonna
like
put my son to
a
bed.
solidarity drive-by aid?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh,
Just
thank
stopping
you,
in,
my love.
checking that you're okay, Tan.
No.
Take back all the mean
yes.
things I've said
Right,
about you.
I've lost my way, so I'm going to go back up and just go through some of these super chats.
I have
Check
got the
you
Fuck
out.
Your Bins
Davis.
intro. I've got
Making it rain.
I've got it, Tan. If you want.
All right, before I go to the super chat, we're just going to see some more of Aid Thompson's handiwork, and this is what he's known for.
Okay.
I can't express loud enough things and stuff.
Well, this is going to be terrible.
Oh, you are. So right, there you go. That was the Fuck Your Bins.
There we go.
I haven't seen it. It hasn't caught up on my little display delay here. So Sarah Davis, thank you so much for the £2 super chat. Tan, love you. Here's a chat for Dreamies for the cats. Thank you very much. I'm going to spend that on crack. Fuck the cats. We've got fuck you cats. We've got Ivan Ambrose. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Corbyn and Sultana are prepared to be complicit in enabling reform. We can't let our guard down. Right. I understand why the left, the harder left, harder, I would say, than me, probably, in the sense that I understand or comprehend or adhere to and hate first past the post and understand it's a thing. I understand why they're peed off that after, Labour aren't doing great or doing as much as they could be to be progressive, bloody prescribing Palestine action and arresting bloody elderly holy women. I can understand why people would be like, you can't enable reform. And it's like, we've been trying not to enable people for ages. We're sick of it. Like, that's why we need voter reform. But Aid, your view on this is, I would say, or the view that we were discussing in the chat, spot on, in the sense that you're hoping, and your thumbnail is a little bit provocative, but you're hoping that they will UKIP Labour.
Yeah, like it's my hope, however naive this might be, it is my hope that they do construct and professionally launch a left-wing party, and it does bite into the left-wing faction that would ordinarily support Labour, and Starmer is as scared by the presence and success of this new party that he is dragged to the left in exactly the same way as the Tories were dragged to the right by UKIP, and through fear of losing like 12 MPs to UKIP back in 2014, 2015, they begrudgingly agreed to weave that EU referendum into the next manifesto, and then they were held to it, and we all know how that turned out. But from Labour's perspective, if we can get Sultana and Corbyn, like, look, I'm a piss taker. Tan, Graham, you guys know this. I take the piss mercilessly every week on the pod.
But you're
But
so
there
nice
is
to
some-
Darren Grimes, man.
Yeah, you know you're calling crafty wanker.
There
I'm
is
not-
some substance. There's some, like, it's all coming from a good place, which is that we need to get Labour sort of moving back leftward. We need to make them scared into thinking or worrying that they're going to lose some MPs and electoral coverage so that they start moving back into a progressive political space. And once that happens, we can start talking about rejoining the EU, which is where we will start to get growth from. And once you start to get growth, you might actually stand a chance of reducing the tax burden. Everything else is conversation.
Is there a possibility, do you think, that we'll get a bill that will mean that we can all have a go on your dad every weekend?
I mean, it's funny you should say that because I've got the change.org petition right here, Tan, to get that bill. No.
You got my hopes up there, man. And Graham, the look in his eyes, he was like a kid on Christmas Eve.
Oh, mate, AIDS Dad's balls is nothing like it. Do you know what I mean?
AIDS Dad's balls Eve. We were talking about
AIDS Dad's balls on your face. You know it's going to be a good day.
All up on your chin. Like we were talking about the possibility of Aid Thompson, the musical. I think it was Yuri Infektinov in the chat on the Politics Social on Friday was saying, we've already got the song.
Yeah. I'd be bang up for that. I mean, it's no secret that I am a shameless muso. Like, love my music, always have done. And really, the politics, the podcast, the paper review, all of this stuff is just building up to me doing my own terrible Broadway musical, dancing and singing about your dad's balls.
If anything, I think you'd do a Trapped in Your Closet. Like, not like I think I could see you doing like a kind of like hip opera.
Oh, lovely. Will. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I think you should do 9/11, the musical.
Jesus Christ.
What? Listen, we're having non-woke. This was the first non-woke July the 4th in America. The 4th of July was non-woke. So me and my twin brother went as the Twin Towers. And if anyone complained about it, we just said, well, we don't want to be woke or nice or polite or caring or...
That's too far.
I think only the Americans can get away with it. They're like, only we can make this joke. Unless, it's like when you're talking about your dad, unless it's AIDS Dad.
Titanic, the musical. 1,500 people died on the Titanic. They got the fucking musical. We're all freezing to death in this water. Like, how long does that disaster have to have been before you can make a musical about it? That's my question.
Well, the rule is like comedy equals tragedy plus time, right? So I'm not saying it has to be funny, but like... tragedy plus time. You gotta wait a fucking bit, Graham.
Waited 24 years. How much longer do you want to wait?
It's been 24 years.
Tan, we've got loads of super chats.
We have. Okay. Yuri Infektinov, £2 super chat. Thank you. Who's this Adrian Thompson bloke? Hashtag your dad's balls. Adrian's familiar with Yuri. Yuri's familiar with Adrian. They're like, I think they're in this kind of like Discord together. I think they do stuff together. Yeah. Sexually, emotionally.
He's got my podcast booge thing tattooed on his hands. It's out of control.
What have you done, Aid?
Guys, I've got to run. I've got to go. So catch up with you all soon. Thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you so much, Aid.
It's been very useful.
Bye. Bye. Take care.
Bye.
He's going.
We've also got a £2 super chat. We're just like not mourning him. We're moving on. Francis Winrow, thank you so much for the £2 super chat. Really massively appreciated. Wow, we've got a whole bunch of folks in here. Richard Marsden, big ups. I've never laughed so hard. AIDS vid tonight was epic, and now you both effing awesome. Yeah, man. I mean, behind the scenes, I would say like I love loads of people in politics. I would say that Graham and Aid are my favourite people. Like possibly broadly, like my favourite people. We have an understanding, don't we?
It's just funny when we're in the chat and something horrible's happened and Aid just comes in. He's like the Kool-Aid guy, crashing through the wall, and he just goes, "Hey, what's up, shit flaps?" And I'm like, "Aid, not now, mate, not now." And he's like, "Rah!"
It doesn't matter what's happening or how like bad the conversation is. He will always find a way to make a really fucked up joke about it. Which is what I love him for. But you're the same.
You need that. You need it.
You're the same. I could picture myself laughing with Graham at a funeral, even Aid's funeral, especially.
Yes. Well, when I go, I hope I go in a really amusing way. Just some ironic, silly, fucking like a plane crashes into me or something, or just.
And I promise
very
you,
daft, Graham.
Graham, what I'm going to do is, if you go before me, with the blessing of your widow, obviously, I will create a pew of gorgeous women to cry.
Oh, brilliant! Love it.
And if I go before you, could you create a pew of gorgeous men and a Jodie Comer lookalike?
Yes. I got Jodie along. She's from Liverpool. We all know each other in Liverpool.
I don't want to meet her after I die. Oh my God. I think I'd die if I met Jodie Comer. Oh my God. I mean, I'm not like, I'd say I'm a little dot on the pride flag, but that is almost all exclusively.
You're a spaghetti lesbian.
I am a spaghetti.
Straight till wet. I don't know where I am on the LGBTQIA spectrum. I think I'm an S. I just think I'm a slut. And you need to add me as an S.
You're a dirty slut.
Anyone. Get a couple of baby shams in me, and I'm anybody's.
The only woman that I've ever truly that's ever brought that out in me was a woman that looked just like Jodie Comer and Jodie Comer, but only Jodie Comer, mostly when she's a Russian serial assassin.
This is like in Bottom where they go to the dating agency. It's like Kim Basinger. She writes a woman like Kim Basinger. No, Kim Basinger.
I love his video. Hello. Hello. I'm the Earl of Kidderminster.
You've got on.
It's a dress. Winston, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. Woo. This is from the Nans, because misogyny. Thanks, Nans. Or is that a misspelling? Is this for the Nans? Who is me? I don't know.
Did you do Richards? You done Richards and Francis's, didn't you?
Richard, you're making me second guess myself. Now, I think I did Francis Winrow too. Yeah, I did say thank you to France. Thank you to you all. Let me just double check that I've not missed anything. Oh, God, Darren the Star.
Oh.
It always reminds me of Bastard.
The Star.
Topping up Tan's emergency cocktail fund. No, thank you, darling. Thank you, darling. Finton Stack, is he a very naughty boy? Father Finton Stack, if I remember correctly, please tell me in the chat if I'm right. I think he's the priest that loves the drum and bass, isn't he?
Is he?
He's like, you dirty fecker. Yeah, he's the one that is listening to like the jungle. If I remember correctly, that's the guy.
Is he the one who won't leave, and he just keeps playing jungle music dead loud, and they keep trying.
And
to
then
get
he
rid of
starts like soaring into the wall and stuff. Yeah, he's really aggressive. And then he inherits Father Jack's hairy hands.
Yeah.
But they try to go to the asylum to break out Jack, and they've all got hairy hands, and they're all Jacks, basically. Ivan Ambrose, thank you so much for the 990 super chat. Graham, I will highlight something you said previously about the poor treatment of female MPs in Parliament. Of course, it happens to male MPs, but much more to female MPs.
Yeah. Women are treated so badly in Parliament, and it is an old boys club. It really is. It's like they never left school. Even like the timings, they have half term. When the kids have half term off school, Parliament has half term, and then they have a big summer holiday, summer recess, and they have the winter holiday and Easter holidays, and it's just a continuation of Eton. Yeah.
I know that Mari Black, who was one of my favourites, I loved her. Her moxie.
Brilliant.
Is unrivaled. I've been using the word moxie an awful amount lately, and I'm bringing it back. I like your moxie.
I was thinking about the word moxie. We used it a lot in the 1930s when we had these screwball comedies where everyone talked really fast.
And the abolition, and we had to have the crazy runs on the night at the moxie. But no, moxie at the Roxy. But women are treated terribly in Parliament. And Stella Creasy, when we had a lovely little chat after, didn't we? Because Graham produced that, and we had a lovely chat with Stella, and Stella's sound as hell, man.
She really is, and she's very practical about it. So
she's very type A.
Yeah. Gets the shit done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. If she does have neurodivergence, it's definitely like she's got it in check. But no, she's very, and she so I know that Ivan just said below that he agrees with Phil on the prescription, and I know that Stella Creasy actually voted for it, and the reason that she voted for it was for stuff that hasn't been put into the public eye, which was, I think, one of them attacking someone with a sledgehammer or something. There was violence allegedly associated. You'll have to look at Stella Creasy's story on her post on Instagram about it.
Okay.
And it was purely from the violence perspective. And I have to say, despite being very passionately, as I would, and I'm not trying to lump them all together and like both sides it or same's everything. Like I feel very strongly about what's going on in Gaza because it is abhorrent. Like it is horrific. Yeah. But at the same time, I also agree that it's starting to get a bit worrying with some of the language around it. But then that's what happens when, I guess, you've got kind of like a live streamed genocide, I suppose, like, and people are getting traumatized by what they're seeing.
If we look at what was said last week by Bob Villan, he shouldn't have chanted that. It was a stupid fucking thing to do, no doubt about that. But there are members of the Knesset, there's members of Parliament in Israel who are calling for the murder of babies in Gaza, out loud, out their face, and it's like saying that they'll just grow up to be terrorists.
Well, one of the number one songs in Israel was calling for the death of Western pop stars, and they've put out some very disturbing songs. I actually, I don't disagree with Bob Villan. I've liked Bob Villan for a long time. The thing that I have take umbrage to a bit with Bob, if anything, would only be the fact that it's kind of like, I guess, the violence aspect. But at the same time, the IDF could stop without there being a single death. Yeah. So it could die as an organisation without anyone dying, unlike what I saw the other day where they attacked a market, the father cradling his twin boys who had been killed, queuing for fucking falafel. American mercenaries now, like Wagner-esque, Putin Wagner-esque, are going over to Israel and they're shooting at the desperate people queuing in these like mad little like kind of like walkways where they're like sitting ducks that they've built. Yeah. There's like oxycodone in flour allegedly. There's I had to scroll down or up to find the correct one because of how many times they have bombed people waiting for aid. Yeah. This is how common it is.
Shot at young people queuing.
Kids. Kids. I mean, you know that picture from years and years and years ago of the man with his son kind of cowering. Yeah. And you see it frame by frame. And in the last one, he's gone. The IDF are monsters. And I don't, on that point, I will support Bob Villan 100%. I back him because they are, anyone that's involved in this are monstrous. And the Americans were cheering and going, we got him, as they were, so, and I don't think Palestine Action for Criminal Damage alone should be prescribed personally, but I understand we've all got a different view on it.
Yeah.
Andy Thompson, thank you for the £5 super chat. If everyone's going to have a go on your dad, will there be enough lolly sticks and elastic bands to keep it going? That's a really important point, actually. I don't know. You'd know more about this than me. Aid's dad's pretty. I'd say
just got a couple of Viagra's inside him. He goes all nice. Mate, he's like a fucking motorboat. That guy.
I've seen a picture of him, and he looks like the man from The Joy of Sex. Full beard, full bush. So yeah, I think Andy that he's a bushwanker. Absolutely. Stop it, Graham. Stop laughing. You're supposed to be not happy.
Why am I not happy? What?
Well, a bloke in a van said we're not happy.
Well, that's what I sort of take real umbrage at. Do you know what I mean? All the times we do these things, like you throw jokes in all the time. It's clear. Like it's like saying, "Oh, Bill Hicks, he's just never happy." Do you know what I mean? Because he talked about politics, or you talk about Rufus from Bill and Ted and say, "Oh, he does his stand up and he's not happy," or Doug Stanhope or someone,
or Ben Elton,
or Screenwrite, what's his name? Charlie Brooker. Oh,
Charlie
Charlie Brooker's never happy, is he? Like, you want to talk about this, and we're cracking jokes about it, and yet we're told that we're taking it dead seriously. And I was saying on my channel this morning, or whenever, I was saying, like, honestly, if I was reading just what was happening, like the fucking news, and I couldn't crack jokes about it, and I couldn't take the piss, and I'd go fucking mad. You know, I need this. I need to be able to go out and talk about what's happening in the world and make sense of it for my own, you know, my own understanding.
And you've got to try and keep sane. And also the way to get people on board with the more serious stuff that you're saying. And I've never done this kind of deliberately, but the way that you get people on board with the serious stuff that you're saying is by giving them a joke to remember and giving them a bit of a laugh, because that helps you to get your message across to people.
And
I started off piss taking.
Yeah. People forgive people who make them laugh a lot more. Like, I warm to people who make me laugh. And this is the thing that the right has a big problem with, because right-wing comedians are not funny. They just are not funny in any way, shape or form. And it's like, someone dying on stage. It's like someone just telling you a bad joke, and then there's a sort of like an awkward silence. You're like, oh. It's just, the cringe factor. The cringe factor.
So bad. Like that. I think it's like an oxymoron, like right-wing comedian. Like, they're just so cringy and terrible, and they rely on like buzzwords and news.
Talking of jokes, we've had why does the tiger get lost in the jungle? Because jungle is massive. And we also had Counter Kev saying Stella Creasy good at origami.
That's really good.
Taylor Swift makes your trousers very fast. Anne folds wood, strong wrists.
And flies south for winter.
What?
The Swifts do that? I need to check out my
Taylor
bloody...
Swift.
I do follow a group on
fast.
Facebook called Birds with Threatening Auras. It's, I also I only go on there for these groups and occasionally to check in with a relative. And there's another one which is my all-time favourite one, which is called what is it called? In Rainbow Rhythms. Yeah. And it's a crossover of Radiohead and Peep Show. It's absolutely incredible. But I have got another super chat here. 9/11, the musical Plain Sailing, says Richard Marsden. 1.99 super chat.
I've started something awful here.
You have started something terrible. Richard, that is funny, but I'm not allowed to laugh. No. Yuri said that he was, in his defense, he was very sober when he got the bouge tattoo. I don't know how that's a defense, man. Rain Noir. This is fucking me up, man. This is almost like urine infecting up until I got used to it. Rainer?
Rain Noir.
Rain Noir.
Film noir. Rain Noir.
Rain Noir. Rain Noir. Or Renoir. 199 super chat. Thank you very much, my love. No message. Fuck it. Again.
Robolaris, I think.
Robolaris.
I don't know. I've been mispronouncing so many names so many times.
Thank you so much, Robolaris. And see, Lewis, thank you. Tan has a smashing tracksuit top. Thank you very much.
Why is that a smashing tracksuit?
It's a hoodie. It's not a... What a smashing tracksuit top you have on.
You said the
I think I'm caught up now, aren't I?
No, we've got Putin.
Oh, bloody hell. Bloody hell. Thank you so much. JG. Yeah. JG was the name of my form in school.
Oh.
Because John Gerard, the geography teacher, was my teacher. Putin is Wagner-esque, like that bloke from X Factor. No, I was talking about Wagner, which is the private army of Putin, who are... horrific, who committed multiple war crimes in Syria, didn't they?
They're still doing it all over Africa as well. They're involved in about 24 countries around Africa, just causing problems because they want to create refugees from Libya, from Eritrea, from Sudan, from Gabon. They want to create these refugees in order for them to come into Europe and help their right-wing puppets get into power.
They're absolute monsters.
To me, it's just like, this is what they're doing, and they're not even fucking hiding it. But no one talks about that because people are coming over in small boats. And whereas our Christian charity should extend to forgiving wife beaters, like that guy from Refuck. We shouldn't have any Christian charity towards people fleeing other countries, even though Jesus himself and his mum and dad were actual refugees in Egypt. Just saying.
So were some others.
Got a couple more supers before we
We have. Ivan Ambrose, thank you so much for 99 Super Chat. Tan, I haven't smoked for over 6 years, but I still crave it at times. Like now, seeing the smoke on your screen. It's not smoke, it's vape, which I know is a bit naughty and I probably shouldn't be doing it. But I have had a very, very stressful day. So I wouldn't normally on a live stream, but yeah, it's been a bit of a day today, unfortunately. But this is cheering me up loads. I was actually a bit worried about doing a live stream tonight. I won't lie to you. I was a bit like, but this has actually really made me laugh properly for the first time really today. The other thing that made me laugh was seeing the guy that called us out and his terrible views. Alan Jackson, £2 super chat. No right-wing comedians. I've watched PMQs. So it's not quite the same, man. That's just like I do call it like a posh rap battle. It is.
People who are very shit at rap.
Or a posh roast, you know.
Yeah, posh roast.
Roast battle.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh,
maybe the lady is for turning after all.
Don't like your fiscal responsibility.
Do you know what's quite cool this afternoon though, Tan? You and I were both texting each other exactly the same moment, saying, "Do you want to come on the show tonight?"
Really?
Yeah. I literally had you open on my because we were on the politics social chat, weren't we? And then I went over and said, I was going to say, do you want me to come on the show tonight?
Aww.
So, great minds.
Thank you so much. Did you secretly gave Aid the link and got him to come on to surprise? No, you guys, man.
He said, I can only do 10 minutes. I've got to brush the teeth of the children and stuff. I'm like,
why can't we be friends? Why can't we?
We need to get him on in the morning when he's got a bit of zip, because by this time he's been up for 17 hours. He's fucking knackered. He's there
normally,
going,
yeah, the poor guy, his child does not let him sleep. He's like, like waterboarding. He's like sleep
deprivation.
Yeah, he's actually his child. I think he's SASing him.
Yeah.
So, but she is cute as hell. So that's how she gets away with it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But another thing that interested me, and I'm not going to dwell on it too much more, but because obviously I'm never going to make a video and give this fella the time of day. The thing that I got out of it was like massive amounts of projection, because it was like, they're not really happy. They're just doing it for likes. They're constantly looking at their likes. They're constantly looking at their stats. They're constantly, and it's like, I don't, I really don't. Like my videos, I'm fortunate enough to have a really lovely community who, when it goes out, even if I am really slack with it, they will watch it and they will look out for it, and it will do reasonably well, considering I film it in a fucking a portrait mode, and it's really shonkily edited and it's put together as best my ADHD brain can manage it, because we're a community of people. We're all in the same boat, aren't we?
Yeah.
Just like your followers, you're in a very similar boat to them. You know what it's like to be too scared to put the fucking heating on, and such. And that's not the position that I'm in. The thing that actually causes me the stress of doing this is the way that men treat me online. That's the problem. And some women, what is it Alan Partridge said? All bitches, some of them. But that's the problem. Like, and it's been the problem since the very beginning. Even when I was making 1 minute kind of like little mini roasts about the Tories, it was always guys or anonymous accounts laying into me in a way that men just don't get. And if all I ask is to be treated the same as like Rose Pierre or Graham or Aid, that's all I want, is to not have this extra added level of exhaustion. And if I'm inconsistent or it's difficult for me to put out content, it's purely because of that, because it is just a fucking onslaught. And the reason you came on tonight is because I came in the chat and I was like, I was doing all right. I was having a really good couple of weeks. I'd sorted myself out a bit. I was feeling better. And then I had that twat on Instagram. I had the bell end coming for me on YouTube. And I had like the rise of the Corbynites. And it was like a triple whammy at once of all of this awful feedback.
I don't know if anyone watching this has watched the TV show of The Last of Us or played the game. But there's a thing in The Last of Us where basically it's a fungal infection. and they have these lines of, like little narrow little lines under the ground of fungus, and it spreads out across the city. And if you disturb it in one place, it transmits that chemically along the line, and it wakes up zombies at the other end of it. So they could be like half a mile away, and then that's what it feels like. What Zana Sultana done this, what she did on Thursday night, it was like she woke up the Corbynites. She like opened the magic box and summoned the Corbynites, and they're there going, "Ow, ow, ow, ow," and suddenly all this abuse, all this vitriol, all this nonsense that they love to come out with, and it's like, for fuck's sake, we agree politically on nearly everything. The one thing that we don't agree on is the idea that the previous leader of the Labour Party is God, okay? We don't think he is. And they're like, "Oh, you blasphemer! You unbeliever!" And they're like, they're religiously zealous about it. And it's just like, fucking hell, man, calm down, take a chill pill.
It's an emotional connection. This is what it is.
Yes.
And the worst thing, like I said in my story last night, whilst really dysregulated on Instagram, and I did post it into my main on Instagram because I want a record of that. What I said is I'm not bothered by him as a person. Like I don't have anything particularly against him. I was massively against him on Brexit. But what you need to remember is he's a politician. He's not your granddad. He's not your mate. He is a man that works for us. He takes tax money to work for the public. Okay. And there's no doubt in my mind, because I know from people that I've spoken to that he knows that the kind of rabid momentum lot do this in his name, and he doesn't stop it.
Yep.
And I have had swaves of messages from women, from people that say that they face the same that I faced every time. They don't even they don't go around insulting him. They like all I said was what I said. I've told you what I've said about it. Simply that under first past the post it won't work. It will take away from other progressives. Feels a bit like a vanity project because it's never going to really make the grounds, etc. I've not said don't do it. I've said that's the consequences of it, and that's my view on it. And also it was a bit chaotic and shambolic because that's not how you launch a party. Yep. Just for saying that, I have had a man yelling and obsessively screaming at me via videos in my DMs. I've had people throwing sexual slurs at me across all platforms. I've had like people screenshotting me and abusing me and making memes about me. That's not normal. And also when I don't like people, or I don't like a kind of like political idea, I don't go to that length about it. No. I just kind of block people and just forget they exist. I don't kind of become obsessed with them and hound them. And there's something really toxic about this. And I'm from my local kind of like Labour Party back then. I know some stuff about how terrible behaviour on that side was covered up because they didn't want to tarnish the reputation of Corbyn. That's fucked up. You don't cover up misogyny. You don't cover up homophobia and kind of dodgy kind of like bigoted views because you want to protect the leader. You call that out.
Yeah.
Tiny's misbehaving.
Nobody else, like, there's no other politician. Imagine if every time you had to try to have a conversation with a Lib Dem and they just started absolutely attacking you because you didn't support Jo Swinson enough and start going on about how she would have been the best prime minister we had never had and all this. And you'd be looking at them going, she was shit. She lost the election. She lost, like, what few seats they fucking had in the Lib Dems. And, the previous leader of Labour, he was shit at his job. His job was to win elections for Labour. He lost 2 general elections. He lost a referendum. He lost 1 European election where they got 14% of the fucking vote. I mean, Jesus Christ. He lost 4 local elections where Labour ended up losing seats net overall. 4 of them, count them. And he was only in post for 4 years. Like, he was shit at his number 1 job, which was to get Labour into power. He failed miserably. And the idea they're going to bring him back and, he's going to dance around like Weekend at fucking Bernie's and they're going to, control. It's just like, oh, for God's sake. He had his chance. He had 4 fucking years. And the most dysfunctional Tory party in history. And he couldn't beat bloody what was her name? Dickhead Theresa
Theresa
May,
May.
with the fucking letters falling off the wall. Oh, I couldn't beat her. Are you fucking
Big-handed the
kidding me?
P45.
Yeah, he couldn't beat her. She was fucking awful.
She really was, yeah.
I'm sorry, but like I know people absolutely love him more than they do their firstborn. But all it reminds me of, Tan, is Trump and the people who love Trump and will say, make any excuse and just go, oh no, he's wonderful, he's amazing. Yeah, well, what about all these shit things he did? Oh yeah, but there was a reason for that. It's all the, cause of the XYZ, whatever you want to blame it on.
No, I agree. It is that same level of fanaticism that I get from reform voters. It is absolutely insane, and it is rabid. The only thing that I will, one of the things that I will concede on, because the moment I was a Corbynite, as I've said before, voted for him to be leader, voted for him in 2 general elections. The thing that made the scales fall from my eyes was his behaviour over Brexit. To me, that was like unforgivable. That was it for me. I'm like, no, like my absolute, like Gordon Brown, who I really revered, could have supported Brexit and I'd have turned my back on him. I was like, no, that is just not.
It was going to make the working people of this country poorer. It's made every family in this country £1,500 a year poorer. And so, and for the people who, for them, that is 10% of their income for the fucking year. Doesn't matter to people who are on 80, 90,000 £90,000 a year, like these fucking politicians. You know what I mean? But to the
like
rest
him,
of us,
or the middle class, people that speak for the left that are on his side. Whereas like that's and also nothing takes away from the fact that in like the last election it was a 2-horse race. It's first past the post. I don't like it. I remind people of it simply because I don't feel that these parties, any fringe party, they don't like to mention the first past the post in the room. However, I will concede that Jeremy Corbyn was brutally smeared, but that's because he had the age-old problem of Labour, which is being appalling with dealing with comms and the media and getting on top of it and having a good DOC. Exactly what's going on with Starmer now. Especially
Starmer had a beer and they pursued him for like half a year, screaming about the fact he had a fucking beer. Meanwhile, Boris Johnson was having a party every fucking night. Ed Miliband, they said his dad was a terrorist. This is not exclusive to the previous leader of Labour. You know what I mean? This is...
No, it's not. No, it's not at all. No, and I wouldn't say... I don't agree that he was the most smeared politician in history. But yeah, it's very... It's really disturbing to me. And having seen up close some of the people that's really rabidly supported Corbyn, there's 2 men that I know personally in my life who are 2 of the most problematic men towards women ever, that are firmly on that side. And I think they're behind some of the they have been behind some of the cyberbullying that I've received, who I'd known for like the best part of 15 years, right? They're kind of firmly on that side of politics. And I don't like the fact that that's the only way that you can be seen as being socialist or a democratic socialist, as if you're, hailing Corbyn.
It was completely self-destructive because they were telling people to fuck off and vote for the Tories. Like, that's not an election campaign. Oh, you don't think he's God? Well, you should fuck off and vote the Tories then. And I'm like, why are you telling people to vote for the bad guys? And like, I'm a little bit of a cynic. I don't know if you know this about me, but like, no. I was particularly pissed off that I joined Labour in like 2000. So I was a member of Labour for 15 fucking years. I'd helped select my local MP in Liverpool. And, I got involved at a local level. And then in 2015, they decided, this is Ed Miliband's fucking doing. I mean, no diss to anyone else. This is Ed Miliband's daft scheme. He decided to make it £3 for anyone to join fucking Labour, and then they could just vote for who they wanted. Now, look, there's a lot of millionaires in this country. There's over like 3,000, no, there's more than that. It's like 16,000 millionaires. There's a ridiculous number of millionaires in this country. £3 to them is nothing, and they don't want to pay tax. So if they put someone who was not going to win ever an election in charge of Labour, jobs are good. And if look, you could probably tell me that there's no way that there wasn't a coordinated effort for Tory voters to join Labour just to vote for someone who wouldn't get elected. But I don't know. I'll take a bit of convincing on that one because it pissed me off that these Johnny-come-latelys, these what do they call them? There's a word that means they just sort of come in at the last minute. Got the same number of votes for the leader of Labour as me, who have been an active member for 15 years. That
That's
really
wild.
fucked me off.
That is wild.
Entryists. That's the word. Entryists got the
Thank you.
same number of votes. And they'd only been a member. They literally just joined the party and they could vote. They've changed it now a bit. So you've got to be a member for X amount of time. But 2015, that was a fucking nightmare. And then they did everything in their power, it seems, to just placate the Tories, up to and including me having shouted in my face in a meeting with the deputy mayor and the chief of police of Manchester. We were trying to organise a protest march against the Tories. A pro-European march against Brexit, the Tory flagship policy, and I've got this guy screaming in my face that they don't want to see a single EU flag at the Labour Party march that was happening in the same place on the same day on the same street.
That is wild. That is insane behaviour. But on another note, entryists is also what you're called at Aid's dad's house.
It is, because I am. But no, I'll pay me way.
£3.
And I have been a member for, years.
You have been a member of Aid's dad for the best part of all. About a year or two now.
Yeah. I'm a veteran.
You're coming up to your anniversary.
Hey.
I've got some super chats I need to
Got
catch
loads
up
of
on.
super chats,
Curiosity Peaked, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. Urine Infectinov, congrats, babes. Member for 2 months. Whoop whoop. Thank you for being a part of the party, pal. We've got Kirsty Hamilton. Thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. Someone here saying, Last of Us game series, an absolute masterpiece. That's Noel's story. What's the story? Morning. Noel story. That didn't work. Morning Glory.
What's the Noel story?
What's Noel's? Oh, I fucked it. I've done bad. I've done so bad. Lee Corn, thank you so much for the £10 super chat.
Hi, Lee.
And he says, you're a legend, Supertanskiii. Thank you, babes. Male YouTubers like Max, Marcus, etc. get trolls, don't get the same type of abuse you do purely because you're a woman. Keep fighting the good fight. Thank you for acknowledging that, man. Yeah, and I don't want to sit here. And this is the thing. I just want to get on with what I'm doing. There's no part. I hate it. I cringe when I call it out publicly because I know that everyone's just going to go, oh, for fuck's sake, she's talking about this. I feel like the girl who cried cyber abuse, right? Even though I provide the receipts and everyone goes, oh, that's terrible. I don't like sympathy, for one. I hate...
That's your imposter syndrome kicking in there.
Is it?
Yeah, because you feel like, is it really happening to you? Is it really, is it really that bad and all that kind of shit? And it is. The shit you get is just off the fucking charts.
But the thing is, like, if I dwell on it for too long, it will fuck me up so badly that I will find it hard to get out of bed in the morning.
Do you know what would really help? If the fucking police would actually fucking do something.
Well, I've got someone fighting my corner on that this time.
Good.
Because I've got it on tape on the call saying I've face victim blaming. I have, I made, she was like, oh yeah, you made a complaint about that. They opened the case and then it was just left. And I was like, oh, brilliant. Thank you. No one told me. And they just left it. Nice one, Essex Police. Almost as well as you did on the Barrymore pool drowning there. Excellent work. Anyway, sorry, I'm going to carry on here. Frankie, £5 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. Alistair Kerr, £5 super chat. A new political party can take up to 20 years to become reliant. I think you mean relevant there. Just my opinion, or reliant. Well, unless you're Reform, which is getting like loads of donations to flood social media
But that's a continuation of UKIP, which has been around for a long time.
This is accurate, yeah.
And
the Brexit Party.
The Greens have been slowly building on the base, and yeah, Alistair is right. It takes a long time to get these parties established.
SNP,
and this new thing will not have the money that they need. I mean, Labour don't even have the money in their fucking Labour. They're asking for we've got some internal stuff from Labour, haven't we, where they're saying, we need to do something about our comms. Unfortunately, Labour's budget at the moment is minus £500,000. So good luck getting someone to work for free. I mean, maybe you could get them to pay you to sort your fucking comms out.
I'm so sorry I'm a bit dark, guys. I haven't brought my big light up. And do I look horrifically, eerily dark?
No, you don't look eerily dark, but it does,
Is that a bit better?
Yeah,
Because
it's
I've only
fine.
got a little
It's fine.
lamp here. But yeah, no, like I was watching, because just before the general election, in order to kind of like feel something, I would watch the 1997 general election coverage, just so I could watch Tory sad, because that's how desperate I was. And I remember looking back then and I saw the SNP on nothing. Like they were a tiny little incumbent, you know. Is it incumbent? No, it's in something like that.
Like a little.
Is it incumbent party? No, it's not incumbent. It's something begin with I. Anyway, they were
Insignificant. Sorry.
they were very small. So very, very
But
small.
what boosted them was Labour bringing in the devolution in 1999 and having a Scottish Parliament.
Labour are very good at devolution. So yeah, you're spot on there. It can take a bit of time.
Yeah.
It can take a bit of time. Winston, 499 super chat, thank you. My name is not Winston. Sorry, Winston. I have a non-account to avoid misogyny and abuse, and no one can see me, Tan, so I can't imagine. Someone contacted me on Instagram DMs and said, I have to. It's not the first woman that's told me this too. I have to appear male to avoid online abuse. So she has a profile picture that's not clear, that's not really properly her, and she has a name that's androgynous in order to appear man-like, and it stops her getting abuse.
Wow.
So that's the only way is to. So what does that tell you? Political X, Alex.
Woo, Alex.
Hello. Oh, we were talking about you on Politics Social.
We
Well,
were.
just Scott was.
We were lusting over you.
You're a beautiful man, Alex. FM Tan, have a coffee on me. Thanks, darling. I'm
Oh.
supposed to go to. I'm going to be going back to. That's totally slipped my mind, Alex. I'm so sorry. And it was so horribly hot here last week. It was when you were at Glastonbury that week. No, it was last week, yeah. And Alex and I were going to go venturing back into reform territory.
Oh no.
And going over the enemy lines and doing some more vox pops.
You're much braver than me. I couldn't put up with that.
Alex, call me, babes. Drop me a WhatsApp and we will get on doing that again. I need to really catch up here because I'm a bit behind. Red V Cafe, thank you for the £2 super chat. Politics should be about policies, not personalities.
Yes.
Spot on.
Yep.
On all sides.
Yep.
On all sides.
Couldn't not agree with that.
If you get the chance, pop over to Political X's channel. He's got an excellent, see what I did there, channel.
See what you did there.
Very informed, wonderful man, historian, wonderfully clever. We all love him. Also does the Sunday roast too.
Yes.
And
I have a Sunday roast every weekend with AIDS Dad.
You do, don't you? I once had a Sunday roast with your mum.
That's too far.
No,
My
but
mum might be watching this.
No, but I genuinely did. That was not even me being
Oh
rude.
yeah, you did. You came round for a roast, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I said, Tan, is there anything you don't eat? And she says, no. Then she turned up and goes, I don't eat that.
No, in my defence,
But
I
of all the
said
stuff I don't eat.
Oh, don't. I would have just eaten vegetables. And I didn't turn up and say it. I said it when I was just about to leave Euston Station.
Oh, I'll let you off then.
So that was, I realised, I was like, oh shit, hang on. There's certain, I feel so bad about that. Thanks for reminding me.
But you did get a lovely roast.
I did when we eventually
chicken.
got.
You had chicken, didn't we?
Yeah, when we eventually got back to your house, I think it was your mum's house. It was quite late, I think. Yeah. That was a fun time conference, in a way. It was the year before the year that they won.
Yeah. It would have been better had you not been dismissed by the fucking police.
Yeah, this is the thing that we were talking about earlier. I mean, just before I went to, I am back in place now. Just before I went to conference, I had received some really vile abuse, and that's the thing that I was referring to earlier. It was like proper threats. Like I posted an unrelated picture, and it looked like I called myself tan left eye, because I'd accidentally rubbed chili in my eye, and it looked like I had a black eye. And this guy was commenting things like, "You should have a black eye. I hope someone punches you in the face, you bitch." You know, calling me the C word.
Christ.
Like, why don't someone? I hope someone does paste you in. You know, like really horrible, like threats like that. Reported it to the police. Left it. Followed up whilst I was in Liverpool, and we were literally just about to go do the Camp in Furnace gig, and they said, there's nothing we can do about it. We can't find him. Yet when I named an individual who was well known in the public eye for doing this from Twitter, they were like, not much we can do about it. Don't provide them a name. You haven't given us his name. Gave him the name of another stalker. Nothing we can do about it. And I got that call literally, like I was due to be on stage within an hour with you. I had to go back, freshen up. I was sobbing. Poor Graham had to see me just like fucking weeping outside a pub trying to drink a beer with him.
It's not the first time that a lady has been in absolute tears having a drink.
But do you want to know what made that?
Boring her to death with my tedium.
Despite...
Did you know that the sound engineer on the third Star Trek movie was actually the cousin, sister's, husband's, brother's babysitter of...
But did you know that despite I've gone really bright. Despite that, despite my distress, my obvious distress, right, I couldn't help but make a joke, because as the waiter came out or people were sitting down nearby, I was like, I can't believe you've dumped me on my birthday. And there's me with a red face crying, and as people sat down, I was like, you fucker, I can't
Liverpool is a very small city as well, so there'll be people who go, oh, did you see what Graham Hughes did? Did you see what he did? Oh, fucking terrible man he is. So
funny. Like, I still, despite it, had dedication to the bit, and I'm proud of that.
And respect.
I forgot until just then, because I did have a proper tissue. I was like snotty and everything, like red faced. Red v Cafe. Oh no, you've just said that. Sorry. Alistair Keir, thank you. I don't know why I said it in a Liverpool. As I stated, the BBC is pushing reform with lies. Reform put out.
Yeah.
The BBC not fact checking. We've seen this before from BBC Scotland. Anti-indie. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And you can tell that also in the way that they very rarely feature people from independence MPs on things like Question Time.
Or Greens, or Lib Dems. Lib Dems have got 70 fucking MPs and never on anything.
Or independents.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like there was that Byline Times piece, wasn't there, a few weeks ago, about how they're deliberately pushing for content that's appealing to reform voters.
Yeah.
Like, they're actually directing it at reform voters. I mean, that is, and also what one is it, Gibbs or the other one? There's Gibbs, there's Tim Davie, and he's, both of which were Tories.
Yeah.
There's another fella that was handpicked by Sunak, but Davie and Gibb were both very closely aligned with the Tory party. One was in Theresa May's team, the other one ran as a Tory councillor, and it's either Gibb or Davie, I get them mixed up, but I think Gibb was male, wasn't he? And what they're doing is they're pushing like a anti-woke agenda at the BBC, which is supposed to be about bias and impartiality, and they're facing a lot of criticism for the Gaza Medics documentary. I mean, they've had an open letter signed by loads of people. There's loads of pressure on them. We had a guy on Newsnight the other night, a journalist at the BBC, referred to Rachel Reeves as Rachel from Accounts. I shit you not. A man working for the BBC used a sexist nickname that is used by the right to describe the Chancellor of the Exchequer of this country. Yeah. Would he call, like, Osborne, Gacky Osborne, or, chewy, coked up, hooker shagging Osborne? Allegedly, reportedly, apparently.
Allegedly. I heard people say. People said that about him.
No, am I caught up? Oh my God, thank you guys. You guys are like, honestly, I swear this is all Graham, isn't it? And his nipple tassels. You can sense them beneath his shirt. Kieran Croissant, 4.99 super chat. Great show. Thank you, darling. It's down to this wonderful bugger who is Graham Hughes of Politics Social. If you're not already, you should pin your thing in the chat. I don't know if it never does the app when I do it. I can't. I'm not in a position to be able to pop a link in there.
That's all right. I'll do that while you're telling everyone about Ivan and his super chat that he's put in.
Oh, hello. We've got another. Let me just get down there. Get right on down there. I'm too close to the mic. That's probably going to sound really pervy. Oh, have you seen what Rob Liddell said about bombing Glasgow? We'll get to that. Fucking dick. Mind you, I expect nothing less from him.
Edgy comedy.
Is he the proper pervy one who's talked about?
I think he used to be editor of The Sun or something.
No, I think I don't know if it was him or someone else that talked about paedophilia in a really weird way. Ivan Ambrose, thank you for the 4.99 super chat. If someone with autism, ADHD, mental health conditions wants to be MP or councillor, it is met with rife ableism. Well, they'd hate me then. I'm not surprised because things aren't progressive. There is still a massive stigma around it. And that's another reason why I wouldn't want to do it. Because people say all the time, they're like, oh, why don't you sign up to be an MP? Yeah. Like, basically, I will get what I'm getting now with added Daily Mail. Yeah, that'd be a laugh, wouldn't it? I'd really enjoy that. And the guy, because people have taken things that I've said out of context. I've only ever talked about mental health and ADHD from the perspective of trying to break down stigma and be positive and to actually be positive, you know, contrary to what men in Ven say about me. To kind of break down the stigma. And I've raised an awful amount of money for charity, you know, like over nearly $7,000 for Refuge, about $3,000 after $5,000, I think it was, after Brendan Clark Smith laid into me for using the Samaritans at Glastonbury. So I've only ever mentioned it from that perspective to be positive. But the problem is the guy that was hurling abuse at me incoherently yesterday was trying to make out that I blame things on my ADHD. You can imagine, right? That's just one unhinged guy in my DMs. Could you imagine what it would be like if that was like MP level? Yeah. Or if you were like in the cabinet or something.
The ableism in Parliament's insane. Like there's hardly any deaf representation. One in 10 British people have hearing loss. And there's hardly any representation in Parliament, which is why, you know, when I go to the cinema here in Durham and say, "Hey, what subtitles showings have you got on this week?" And they're like, "We've got one on Tuesday at 4:45 in the afternoon because deaf people don't work." And I'm like, "Oh, just one for the whole week?" And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "You know, that's the minimum you can legally get away with." And he went, "Oh, is it?" And I went, "Yeah." I just left it at that. Anyway, we got a super chat from Jenny Robinson.
Sorry.
Have you got that?
I have. Yeah, thank you so much, Jenny, for the £10 super chat. I went out on Friday, was chatted up by a drunk Santa. Was that Mike? Can't be. Mike was on our...
Mike is sexy Santa.
He is sexy Santa. Yeah. Too sexy Santa. Was chatted up by a drunk Santa, groped by a drunk pensioner. Oh, hello. Had a chair with me on it, dragged across room by a bloke I didn't want to dance with. Didn't get misgendered, though. Wow.
You've got to take the small wins, haven't you? Jesus Christ.
Jesus H. Christ. And you know what? That's not even... They're getting worse. Yeah. I'm glad that you didn't face any, abuse in that respect. But this is what they do. Yeah. Why was a guy dressed as Santa in July? June? Is it July yet? Yeah, it's July. What? That's a very unusual, like reverse Santa, Christmas, summer Santa.
Bad Santa.
Bad Santa. Sadly, this is so common. I was telling the guys about how a friend of mine on the fast train back from London had two guys sit down opposite her on one of the late trains. Women are always hyper vigilant on late trains because it's like the drunk train, basically. Yeah. But these two guys sat directly opposite her and she didn't have headphones in, looking at her phone, started kind of in front of her discussing whether or not they should rape her. And
fucking hell.
Sitting there just across from her going, should we? I reckon we could get her off at one of the stations. She texted British Transport Police, and they actually, because it was one with not many stops, the Norwich to where I live, or the Norwich train passes through where I live. She managed to, there's like only about 3 stops. It's a fast train, so it just rattles through, like there's no like loads of stops. They did actually manage to get on and talk to them, but she's had no follow-up from it because they didn't actually do it. But you're seeing, like, I had a car speed at me the other week, 2 men laughing as they did it just to scare me, women getting punched in the street. You see that in New York.
There's a lot of reports of women joggers being spat at.
Oh, that's always happened, man. Like, this is like my friend stopped running because she would have not just being spat at, but she would have like threats of them, like, or people trying to get her in the car, or the other side of it, which is them just calling her fat and mocking her. So it's either like, this is the thing with me online. I either get like super, comments from people that want to shag me, or they hate me and they want me to die. Like, there's no in between, really. There's no, I just admire you for putting a lot of work. Well, no, there are some people that are like that, actually, men and women alike, who are like that, but it's kind of like the majority of it's the two extremes, so you feel that more. And
when people say things about the way you look, even if it's like they think they're being complimentary, it can make you feel like shit, honestly. And I know, you don't need telling this, but like, it depends how people put it. But like, I don't want to be objectified, and I'm a bloke. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine what it's like having to put up with this shit all the time. And people who think like, oh, I'm being nice, but actually it's making you feel a bit uncomfortable because they're just going on a bit much.
It depends on the situation to me, because I'm a single woman. Are the single ladies? Right, because I'm a single woman, right? Like, there's a time and a place for it. Like, if I'm gonna put out a bit of a kind of like thirst trap or something like that, I'm going to do it on Instagram, right? So now you all know. If I'm going to put something out where I'm feeling myself that day, if I'm ovulating and I'm like, oh, I feel good about myself today, I'm going to put that on Instagram where it should be, right? I don't want to hear it in the middle of a 14-minute video comment section where I'm talking about something that's going on in America, or on I'm not opposed to people being like that, even though I personally, I think there's a way to do it where it doesn't come across as a bit but if you're going to do it in the place where I just have fuck around. Like, I fuck around on Instagram mostly, but on my YouTube, if I'm trying to dissect something, if I'm doing a thread about the far right, that's not the place to pop in and say nice tits, love, or it's not appropriate, is it? But it takes away from what you're saying, because that's the thing that women suffer a lot is it's kind of like they don't listen to you. And that's the kind of the horrible comments in that fella's video. There was so many people saying, oh, well, she's I don't know if I entirely agree. Oh, she's, a not bad looking blonde woman. Like, making out as if like just how I am as a human is like, it's not, how you look is not really down to you. And they're judging you purely on that and not what you're saying, or they will use that to dismiss what you're saying. So you can't win either way, really. If you're not, in any way conventionally attractive, they'll pull on that. If you are, that means you're automatically shit. So you can't really win as a woman, because it always comes down to your worth being valued according to how you look.
Objectification.
That's the entire worth of women, and men will be taken at their word regardless of how they look most of the time. they won't necessarily lose professional points for it. Women will. Horrible. And they'll compare you against other women. Like I had a guy in my comment section once going, "Oh, don't fancy you as much as Marina, but I'm here anyway."
Oh, that's nice, thanks.
I mean, Marina's objectively gorgeous, but why the fuck are you saying that to me? Like, they don't see you as people.
No.
They don't see you as human beings.
That's the thing as well. It's like there was a famous art exhibition where a woman stood there and she said anyone could do anything to her, and they had to stop it because the things that men were doing to her were just fucking horrific.
You're talking about Marina Abramovich.
Yeah.
And I can't. If my art history teacher was listening now, he would be very disappointed in me, which would only encourage me. But no, it was basically she offered herself. She stood there, and she had men kind of cutting off her clothes, cutting her, and a man someone put a loaded gun to her temple, and she was crying, just quietly crying as it was happening, and they didn't stop. There were some women, there were a few women, but it was majority men doing really demeaning, awful things to her when given the free will to do it. And she actually said that she thought she was going to die. Like, she thought that she would be killed. Because she had and it also, that's an interesting thing about consent. Because I had a guy earlier on Threads, it's all come at me today. On the days when you can't handle it, it all comes at you. Yeah. And there was a fella who I'd blocked on Twitter who sent me a message on Threads saying, "You blocked me on Twitter."
Yes.
It was like he tagged me in a public post. You blocked me on Twitter. Oh, it must be so hard being female and famous, is what he said. Not famous. I am a woman though. And then he's like, "Oh, we could have been friends." Something about, I can't remember what it was he said now, but it was really demeaning and sexist and horrible. And then at the end he was like, "Oh, I will send you some money on Ko-Fi." I was like, "I don't want your fucking money." So what they do is it's overriding consent, right? Because I've blocked him there, so he's tracked me down somewhere else because he has to be heard. I have to hear what he says. They know what consent is, they just don't want to respect it.
Yeah, every man knows what consent means when they're in a gay bar.
Absolutely.
We've got a couple more super chats, but I'm going to have to wrap it up soon because I've got to put
Me
the
too.
kids to bed.
Me too, sorry.
Shout at them to go to bed. Did I show you the clip that Greg Davis filmed for us?
So jealous.
I
fancy Greg Davis a little bit.
Did you see the little clip? Did you see the little clip?
Yeah. I love the way that AB in the chat was like, "I thought he was talking about me." Yeah, it's so cool, man. You just meet everyone, you jammy bud.
Just before we go on, Pat Martin has joined the F the Tories tier on your channel. So I'll just do a welcome. You are awesome. Welcome.
Thank you for joining. It's been very useful. We've got questionable obscenity. Thank you for the £5 super chat. What you described sounds like a Section 4A offence, which has an unlimited fine, level 5. I don't know which bit you're referring to.
I think what they were saying on the train, and Chris C is saying, "I lost count of the number of times I had to eject men off the train because they were sexually, verbally abusing a woman or a girl when I worked for Virgin Trains as a ticket inspector."
Who said that?
Chris C is saying that in the chat.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. I can see. And thank you, Winston, for the £4.99 super chat. I don't want to shag you or hurt you. Thanks, man. I just want to listen to your well-researched opinion and Graham's. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Friends.
We try our best. And we've got some good news for people who watch the Politics Social channel, don't we, this week? Because we might have a special guest on the Morning Brew.
Who's that?
You might be coming on Morning Brew this week.
I know, I was building it up, love.
Okay,
I was building it up.
I've forgotten.
No, I haven't. I'm gonna have to. I have got an appointment or two, so I'll have to make sure that I check the days. But I'm gonna. My aim is to do at least 2 next week. So yeah, because I need to get into a better. I'm doing well at getting into a better routine, actually. Because I'm a terrible night owl, and if I'm left unchecked and I get a second wind, I'll be up until dawn. So I'm trying to stay away from dawn's crack.
I woke up at the crack of dawn. I said, "Dawn, get off my face."
Wow. Okay. Well, ready when you are. I mean, we have had a really good time tonight. I have to say, it's.
And thanks to everyone in the chat. They've been brilliant. And our moderators. Thank you so much to Diz and Alistair and others who have moderated the chat for us. You're absolute legends.
Yeah. I mean, Political X is saying watch Politics Social. So I'll say watch Political X.
Political X. Yep.
Also say shout out to Adrian Von Thompson. Unless you've been living under a rock, you would have heard of our Graham. With a quick reminder, he is actually tagged in the description of this. So if you want to go back and have a little look-see.
Thanks for that, Tan.
And thank you to our moderators, which I think is Alistair, Kerr and Diz tonight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being our loyal protectors from the pork dads and the value pork dads who like to wade in and go, oh,
value ham dads.
Ooh, you're a man, as their tits that are bigger than mine flop around the place, wearing their bloody, I don't know, JD Sports wanker setup. But no, so should we wrap it up for tonight?
Yeah.
All right, thank you everybody for watching. From myself and Graham Danger Hughes of Politics Social, thank you and good night.
Oh, we got another super chat before.
Oh, bloody super chats always get in the way of the funny conversation and debate, says Darian De Star for £10 right on the wire.
Thank you.
Has he ruined, because I'm terrible at ending a phone call. I'm always so awkward. I'm the same with the ending a live stream.
You say goodbye. No, you say goodbye. No, you say goodbye.
No, you fuck off.
You fuck off.
Or if it's with me and Graham, I've aged visibly because we've been on the phone for 75 hours. But no, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to Yuri, thank you to Billy, thank you to Johnny, thank you to Chris C, thank you to Kevin Cottrell, thank you to Dylan Meyer, Rev D Cafe, you Reverend, Pete's Music, Jason Von Hartman, Winston, and anyone who dropped a super chat. And thank you to Graham. So until next time, thank you and good night.
It's the Sunday service. The Supertanskiii. This could be a warning.